What's going on, everyone? Tim Williams here. We're here to break down tonight's Monday Night Football game here. We have the Giants taking on the Chiefs in Kansas City. We have a total of 52. The Chiefs are favorited by 10.5. So let's just dive right in here. Chiefs at home against the Giants should be a good one. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the spread thinks. So if you're a sports bettor, it's hard not to kind of lean the Giants' way with how the way the Chiefs have been playing. Chiefs defense is so bad. We'll talk about some builds here. We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes and his struggles here. But yeah, let's just dive right into it. I like to chuck a couple entries in this Millie Maker lineup, so that's probably my priority as far as my builds go. So I'm trying to think of like what could possibly happen that the field isn't going to do. I really think the field is going to play probably 2 out of these 3, Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey. And I'm going to lean the other way, and I'm going to go with the running game here. The Giants are 28th in the league as far as rushes given up in the end zone within the 10-yard line. I think Darrell Williams is a somewhat sneaky play, I would imagine. I can't imagine him being higher owned than like 35%. 21 attempts 2 weeks ago. I think he'll see something closer to that. He found the end zone twice. He has some receiving upsides here, three receptions the last 3 games. So I know the price is a little bit high, but you have to think a little bit different in this one. So Williams at 9K is probably going to make my build. You can even throw him in the captain spot, right? And I don't know. We'll see how that build looks, but yeah. So you have to think of it a little bit different. I don't know if I necessarily want to fade all of them, all of the the key playmakers here, but the safest spot would be like to include Mahomes. We're seeing the NFL a little bit differently this year. I think running backs, especially these showdown slates, have been kind of popping up a little bit more. Teams are kind of going to the ground game a little bit. Defenses are covering the long ball a little bit more. So I definitely have some interest in the running game on both sides, to be honest. As far as like Kansas City in the middle here, Hardman at 4.8. I think that's an easy fade for me. 12 receptions against the Bills, but I think this is his absolute ceiling, 16 points. We're probably looking more at like 6 to 9, right? I think that's pretty reasonable. I just don't think that he's going to be worth that price at 4,800 comparative to his ownership. So you either got to go up top or just punt. I'm going to go with the running game here. I like the running game. If you're playing like single entry stuff, like, yeah, sure, Hill, Kelsey look really good, but we got to think a little bit differently for these Millie Maker type of contests. I think Pringle, I'd rather go to like a Pringle than a Hardman, but I'm probably not going to get there. The other guy I really like for value in the entire slate on both sides, Giants or Chiefs, is McKinnon here at 1.5K. He's probably unlikely going to get rushing attempts here. He got 3 2 games ago, 1 against the Bills, but what's more likely is he's going to be out there catching short passes. I think the Chiefs have to get a little bit more creative. Giants defense is fair. They're okay at best. So I think that they'll kind of try to look to shut down Hill and Kelsey. So it's going to open up opportunities for these little dump off passes for like McKinnon and possibly Williams as well. So at 1.5K, I think that's a fairly reasonable and somewhat safe punt that allows you to pay up for many other things here. Josh Gordon at 200. Pass on that. I hope he gets some ownership. I don't even know if he's really seen the field at all, so I don't even know if he's practicing with them, but I think a kicker's always safe. One kicker's fine. On the Giants side here, I really like the whole package, right? The Chiefs defense really been struggling in this one, so I really like Daniel Jones. He definitely has a floor here. We've seen it in the past against the Rams, against Dallas, but both defenses have been fairly playing well. So in those games, we definitely saw Danny Dimes' floor, but 17 to 30, I think is well within his reach against this type of defense, who really just struggle against the pass. Keep an eye out on wide receiver news. Shepard's questionable. Tony's questionable. Galladay is already ruled out. Ingram, I think, is fine at 5.4. I think he's going to be a little bit too popular. So kind of a last secondary piece for me if I'm looking that way. Pettis could be a viable option, right, kind of in the middle at 5K, depending on the news of the other wide receivers here. But I really like Tony a lot. He had a huge game against Dallas, 13 targets, 10 receptions there, 32 fantasy points. Remember, there's been some injuries on the Giants side here and there, so we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. But maybe anywhere between 10 to 20 would be realistic. 20 would be absolute, I think, ceiling for him. But I mean, it's well within his range of outcomes. I really like Jones in this one, and I don't mind Booker at all. The Giants need to get the run game going a little bit to kind of open up the pass game. 14, 12, 16 rushing attempts in Booker's last 3 games to go along with 2 receptions, 4 receptions, 3 receptions there. So I think he's a somewhat safer play on this slate. I don't mind pairing him up with Danny Dimes because we're seeing a lot of quarterbacks throw to their running backs as of late. There really isn't anybody behind Booker, at least to my knowledge, on this depth chart that's going to like threaten any of his playing time. Brightwell at 200, I don't think that's just going to happen. So Booker's going to steal the field a lot. So I like him here, along with Williams and for the Chiefs as far as the running game goes. As far as like Giants, John Ross, I don't really have a ton of interest, but at 1.2K, it could be worse. Rudolph as well. Rudolph at 1.8. If you need a salary saver, I think it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. He's gotten a couple targets his last game. Maybe he sees one in the box, but I really think if the Giants are going to get close or if they're in the red zone, I think they're going to look Booker's way quite a bit. We've seen Daniel Jones kind of do some QB sneakage here and there. So I think the key to this game, to get a little bit different from the 3-headed monster in Kansas City, is kind of leaning on that run game, taking a kicker or whatever you got to do. In single entry stuff, smaller contests, I think I'd be looking a little bit more to get to some of the Chiefs' big 3. But I think the Giants are going to keep it close. I think there's going to be a decent chance these running backs are going to be in the optimal. That'll do it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I always forget to mention that I am active on Twitter. You can find me there at Tim Williams DFS. Make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button to kind of let you know when I'll be doing some of these videos here and breakdowns. And tell me what you think is going to happen in this game. Who do you like between the Chiefs and the Giants? Good luck on your contest tonight. Peace.